All right, what's going on? I'll show you guys how I made $7,692 today. Taking a nice short. It's a very nice short. So we will start breaking it down. So we will first start on, say, the hourly time frame because there's no 4 hour gaps. We'll make that known. No 4 hour gaps above. Obviously, we have this large range of a 4 hour gap that we're just kind of chopping in. But go to the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, we had this kind of target, this kind of target. We had London low, New York AM low, New York PM low. So we have these three kind of relative equal session liquidity. Resting below, we had New York PM above, and then, of course, just the yesterday's high. So, yes, will also play a factor in this one. Let's get down to here. So Forex Factory, 7:30 news, PCE price index. We find that candle. Let's find that candle, which I did not do this before, but it makes the trade very much stronger. This is what I would consider about the data wick candle. There's going to be liquidity from there. We also have this low inside of, I'm assuming this is some kind of gap. No? Okay. But I would say this is a data wick low right below this range low. So my biggest draw was eventually higher, but I did want us to move lower just because of how many open draws we still had lower. We had this 15-minute intermediate low. ES had this 5-minute because here's 10:10. So here's market open right here, leaving a 5-minute untapped fair value gap. And then we had this move up. And then this was the biggest thing for me. Our move up from market open was this high right here, this 15-minute high, and all of this accumulation. To me, I would have been fine with price manipulating up higher. It's then manipulating a lot higher to the point where I would almost want to switch my bias. But this is the most quote unquote major point of liquidity that I would want to see be manipulated. I would want to see more than just these highs be manipulated. I want to see this kind of higher time frame high. But I also don't want to go too much higher than that if we're just looking for manipulation. So at open, we do have this move up right here. Oh, and then I will say I did sleep through market open. I got on the chart 3 minutes late. Thank the Lord that he woke me up when he did. So appreciate him for that. But we did manipulate these highs. We had this 1 minute that this is about when I got on the chart. So I saw it. I wasn't able to really dissect that much, but we did have a resweep. So that's why going break even is important. If you got in this 1 minute, going break even here, whatever. But we got our resweep of that. On our resweep back up, because we never took liquidity, we never took this, we just created the low from market open, which we just generated liquidity. Whenever we generate liquidity at market open, that is the most ideal thing that we can do. That is what you want to look for, generating liquidity that you can then target later. And that's what we did here. And we didn't generate liquidity here. If anything, we created high resistance liquidity by sweeping out this 930 high, swept it out. We didn't generate more because it's not below it. We then swept it out, made this a high resistant high, generated more liquidity below, with this data wick below, with London below, and all these different targets, unmitigated 5-minute. So we have all of these targets. And now that I'm locked in, okay, I want shorts to at least this pre-market low that we generated liquidity at. What is the highest time frame gap? We have 1 minute, but this 2-minute gap right here, we have a 2-minute gap right here. And then Nothing, there's no lower fair value gaps in this leg. So then we'll look for a 3 minute. 3 minute, nope. These wicks touch, no 3 minute gap, so there's not going to be a 4 or 5 minute. But, so we're looking for the 2 minute. I started to get a little dicey about it when our reaction here was a rejection wick up, and then we have this big move down, then a big move up, then a close down, and then we're just kind of slow. So this is where I'm starting to be like, okay, I'm not loving it. But then we got this candle. This candle was the candle that I needed to see. This was the this candle opened the next 2 minute, which inversed the 2 minute gap that we have marked right here. It closed it with that kind of displacement. That is what I love to see. That is what I need to see to be able to confidently enter a trade. So I entered, I'm assuming right on this here, 7.4, entry price 7.8. Okay, maybe it took me a minute. There we go. Somewhere like that. So we then here, entry time 8:48:01. Okay, so we enter here, which is great, and then we get this move lower into this 1 minute gap. And I was even thinking about going break even there because we're going into an opposing PD array. But then I also noticed we left a bearish 1 minute, so that should be able to play defense against that. And if we inverse this 1 minute, then I would probably close early because we shouldn't be inversing bearish PD arrays and respecting bullish PD arrays if we want to go lower. So we had this move down, but we also had tested this 1 minute. And then that's where we got this reaction out of, and it was smooth sailing from there. It was just red, 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 red. I did close 2 here because this was the low-hanging fruit that I wanted. Closed at 19. So yeah, like right there. Closed there. Closed 2 of the 3 contracts that I was in. I was up about 236 on that. And then I also closed like whatever. I had a couple more evals that I had to get a certain amount that closed like somewhere around here ish. But this is it. Like I'm risking 32 for 59 points. I'm getting a 1.8 risk to reward. I was only risking 200 on this one. And I only closed 2 of the contracts, so that's why I was only up the 236 or whatever it was. And then I did think that we were going to go lower than just this because one, ES was at this time, ES was up in here and it had an unmitigated 5 minute down below. So I wanted ES to hit that. I wanted on the higher time frame, I wanted NQ to go to these lows on the higher time frame to be able to take these lows out and then go higher from there. Do we have to? Absolutely not. I also wanted to see this 15-minute intermediate low get swept, which we did. And then I just wanted this London low to get hit. That was my overall like major draw. And I left a runner there that I closed out where? Like here? Yeah. So like it was a long time to go 100 points. Like it looks good on the 15-minute, but honestly, like it took so long to get down there that with one micro, it really was like a $10 difference how I had it set up or whatever. It was like a $10 difference. So I was completely fine with like just closing early with us starting to slow down and who knows how much more and then whatever. So that was the overall trade. It was a great 2 minute inverse for obviously all of the reasons. Perfect sweep. I think we did have ASMT. Oh no, we did, but which is good. True manipulation. So yeah, that is the trade of the day. and that's how I secured it.